Hello, friends and assholes. I'm Jay.
I'm Matt.
I'm Sean.
We are assholes watching movies, and today we are getting down into the Oscars. Oscars.
1 week away.
Yes, they are coming up quick.
Yeah.
We have not seen all the movies.
No, neither have I.
You're close.
I'm missing 4.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
Because that's for all categories.
That is every one that's nominated. I didn't see Honeyland. I didn't see Corpus Christi. I didn't see Ford v Ferrari, because Sean saw it without me at TIFF. And I didn't see Les Miserables.
Yeah, I'm missing, I'm missing Les Miserables too.
Is that all you're missing?
No, I'm missing a lot more. 'Cause normally, I've been really good with the main categories, but this year I've been hitting it a lot less hard with technical awards, and even I haven't seen any of the documentaries yet, I don't think. Yeah.
Yes. Well, in some ways it's fortunate because like documentaries and international and Best Picture blurred.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some good overlap, but it does mean that you can be missing out on a movie in a couple of categories if you missed one of them.
I actually think number of movies there was less to watch this year, which I think is probably why I was more relaxed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just in terms of like sound editing and stuff, like often they throw in crazy stuff. Sometimes the song ones, they throw in crazy movies nobody's even heard of.
Oh, you had one of those.
Yes, I watched that.
I watched it too.
It was horrible.
I thought it was better than expected.
Oh yeah, well because I was very moved by actually 1 or 2 scenes. Mm-hmm. So I mean in that sense it was better than expected.
Yeah.
And I mean, Topher Grace. I mean, come on.
I mean, I was a little like, at first I was like, Topher Grace is in this? Like, watch out, it's Breakthrough we're talking about. Which I couldn't even place that movie. I was like, Breakthrough, what movie is this? I've never heard of it. And Sean said, I think it's that religious one. And it was.
Yeah.
So I had that mindset going into it. I rented it and I was like, and once I saw it, I recognized Chrissy Metz from This Is Us. And I was like, oh, that one. Okay, I do remember seeing this at some point.
Yeah.
I didn't even internalize the title.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it knowing that it's a religious whatever, I'm going to have these feelings about it. Mm-hmm. But really I felt like I could get over that, and like in that genre, I guess, it was an okay movie. Still,
wasn't necessarily a great song though.
I thought there are worse ones.
There are worse ones actually.
I think the Toy Story one is bullshit. Like I think that's the worst song in the category.
True. I wasn't a big fan of the new Elton John one either.
Well, fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a weak category this year for that. My favorite, I don't know. I don't know if you're holding out on that. Yeah, we're skipping ahead. My favorite coming up after this.
Okay, so we'll get into it, but it's okay. We can say what we like when we want to. It's all right. But I started just with Best Actor. And I'm realizing now, like, I haven't even thought of these things yet. Like,
me too.
I'm like still in watching mode, not thinking like, it's this weekend. We gotta get going on this.
Well, Best Actor, I have to come clean and say that last night we got busy at work. I'm almost exactly halfway through Pain and Glory.
Okay.
So I'm not done that yet.
Okay. So to be fair.
He's
only gauging this on 50% of the performance.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Antonio Banderas, of course, Leo for Once Upon a Time, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix, and Jonathan Pryce, one of the 2 popes.
Yes.
Which I
better
like.
Than 2 popes.
Well, the movie certainly feels that way.
Yes.
I think if you have a movie called The 2 Popes, like, it's really sketchy to make one of them a supporting and the other one not. Like, obviously, they're just trying for 2 different Oscars here. They have pretty equal screen time. It's really just 2 old guys talking the whole movie, which is fine. And in fact, Anthony Hopkins is the, like, Pope in the movie. In fact, the other guy is not the Pope in the movie. Spoiler, there's never 2 popes at the same time. But Anthony Hopkins is the Pope, and the other guy is, like, gonna be the Pope next time, but he's not yet. There's only 1 Pope. And it's Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, I sort of thought that the movie was told from Jonathan Pryce's perspective. Like, I remember Anthony Hopkins as having less screen time, I guess.
Well, you're right. I think in the beginning we do see like a little bit of his early years and sort of the things that are going to be controversial in his papacy or his campaign towards the papacy. Oh,
Here I was thinking it was papacy.
Oh my gosh! Now we're just embarrassing yourselves.
So I should have called it the two papacies, and then I would have known.
Regardless, who's gonna win?
Joaquin Phoenix is gonna win.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that's who should win?
Of the ones that I have seen, which are not the Two Popes or Pain and Glory,
Okay.
yes.
I would
think
say yes.
Joaquin Phoenix was the strongest of those.
Yeah.
And it's one of those showy roles where he lost lots of weight and it's like a big deal whether you love or hate Joker. It's a big movie.
Yeah, and he's really compelling in it, and like none of this works if not for him.
Yeah.
Which is actually probably less true of the other nominees, except for maybe Marriage Story. I guess you needed those two to really sell it, but yeah, for me, I would be very happy if Joaquin Phoenix won.
Okay. So supporting actor, the nominees are Tom Hanks, Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, and Brad Pitt.
It's funny how Brad Pitt is like the unknown of that. Like, yeah, these are legends, and Brad Pitt's the only one who hasn't won of all those people. I think those four have like 5 between them.
Okay.
Does that mean Brad Pitt's going to get it?
I think Brad Pitt's going to get it. I would argue that maybe he should, because he was super, like, I loved him in Once Upon a Time. But it's a strong category. I thought, like, Joe Pesci was amazing. I mean, Tom Hanks is another one you sort of wonder about him being supporting. But I thought Anthony Hopkins, even more than Jonathan Pryce, I thought Anthony Hopkins was great. But yeah, I think Brad Pitt.
Okay, Sean?
That's a tough one. I mean, I think the two from The Irishman are going to split it, so they're out. I haven't seen the
Two Popes.
Two
Or
Popes
It's a Beautiful
It's
Day.
Beautiful Day, so that makes it hard for me.
Yeah, Tiff really fucked us up this year because I saw a lot of movies without him.
Yeah.
He dared to say some without me.
I'm gonna also pick Brad Pitt.
Wow, interesting.
And I think, like, I mean, this is what the two that I think should win, but I think we're going to be right. Like, I think that they're probably going to take it.
Interesting. Okay. So, Best Actress. Strong category?
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo for
Yeah.
Harriet. Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. Saoirse Ronan for Little Women.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron, Bombshell. And Renee Zellweger.
For Judy.
That's
For Judy.
right.
Yeah.
I have seen all 5.
Have you? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I've seen all 5.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. So, who's gonna win? Who should win?
I say Scarlett Johansson is going to win, and not to take anything away from her, but Cynthia Erivo probably should win.
Okay. Matt, thoughts?
I'm surprised to hear you say that Scarlett Johansson will win. I don't think this one's decided yet, although maybe technically is. But because I thought, if anything, Renee Zellweger was kind of the front runner going into it. But I really have a feeling like, say, the Oscars are going to split from the Golden Globes and go with Scarlett Johansson. I think it's between the two of them. In terms of who should win, that's a lot harder. I really loved Marriage Story, and part of me would like to see Scarlett Johansson win. I liked Cynthia Erivo, but didn't love the movie.
But did you love Judy?
No, you're right.
I know I am.
Yeah. And I think that's going to hurt Renee Zellweger too, is that I think a lot of people have forgotten about that movie already.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while for that one. I mean, not that long. I think it came out October, early October maybe.
That's right.
But certainly, yeah. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win. I think Renee Zellweger probably is the front runner there. But I would prefer to see Cynthia get it.
And the Oscars have shown that they like Scarlett Johansson this year because they split from a lot of other people and gave her the supporting nomination for Jojo Rabbit, which doesn't always mean, like with Jamie Foxx, that was like a sign that he's got it for Best Actor. But that doesn't always mean, like sometimes they split their own votes. So, yeah.
Well, you're right. I mean, she's not getting 2 votes.
Right.
on the same ballot for both awards.
Mhm.
I don't think.
No.
So then supporting actress, we have Kathy Bates.
Yep.
Richard Jewell.
That's right. Laura Dern.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, from Marriage Story.
That's
Yeah.
right. Margot Robbie.
Yep.
For Bombshell.
Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh.
Oh, for Little Women.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
a good
Florence
category.
Pugh.
Yes, she's very good.
Mhm.
I mean, Florence Pugh is exceptional.
Mhm.
I wish she had been nominated for almost any other movie she did this year than Little Women. I mean, I didn't think Little Women was bad, and I don't think she's bad in it, but it's not my favorite movie of the year.
Mhm.
And, I mean, we just watched Midsommar, like,
Oh yeah, that's a.
she
crazy one.
should get, like, if she was in the category, she would get it.
Yeah.
But she didn't even get a nomination for that. So, who is gonna get it?
Laura Dern.
Okay.
That's like, that's like one of those ones that seems to be a lock. I can't say I necessarily get it, even though I walked out of Marriage Story being like, I loved lawyers. And Ray Liotta, Alan Alda, I always want to say Arkin, were great, but Laura Dern was the standout there. She had the bigger part, the more well-rounded part. But then at the end of the day, when we're saying Best Supporting Actress of the Year, I'm maybe less excited about it. Although again, that was one of my favorite parts of a movie I really, really liked. I don't know, I think I would almost like to see Florence get it.
I'm gonna go with Florence Pugh. I mean, Midsommar is wrapped up in there, but I also think that is a tough character in Little Women that she has.
Yeah, and she kind of saved that role because it's very easy for her to come off as just bratty, and I think it was a good casting decision to put her in there because she does have an inner toughness that we saw this movie with my sister Jana, I think on Boxing Day, and she later emailed me to say, I can't believe that was the same girl from Fighting With My Family, the wrestling movie. That's not the one I thought she was gonna say.
Wait, is that with Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Florence Pugh.
Oh, really? Yes.
So, you know what? To be honest, out of these, I would like to see Scarlett Johansson get it because I think that's a phenomenal role in Jojo Rabbit. It's a really, really difficult balancing act to pull off. Tonally, it's really tricky, and I think she was kind of amazing in it.
Well, I thought it was a ridiculous nomination when I had seen the first 20 minutes of the movie because I couldn't get past like the accents and it just seemed a little one note. But when I watched the rest of the movie, I couldn't believe how many like crazy scenes she has and like how many interesting ways they kind of play it and like her like going into the putting like the soot on her face to be the father and like she was just all over the place. She was a really fun character and a really easy character to like. So yeah, it's I definitely wouldn't count her out. I don't think she's gonna win because I think she's got a better chance for Marriage Story, but.
You know what? I always hate when they split people up, and often it means that the woman gets the nomination and the man doesn't because there are so much better roles for men. But in this case, they both got a nomination. And you think about Marriage Story, and the reason it succeeds is really that explosive chemistry between them, and it's like you just wish they could win together.
Yeah.
You just think maybe the Oscars should do, like, I know other award shows sometimes give awards for ensembles or
Best Kiss.
Yeah. Right, yes. You sort of wish they could be recognized together because their performances really rely on each other too.
They do.
They do.
That is what takes it to another level, is they're both playing off of each other. It would be good to have that category to recognize whatever it is, the best duo or best.
The two popes. Yeah. It'll have to be a husband and wife. Sometimes it's just two popes who really like each other.
Best popes, yeah. The at the TIFF Noah.
Best kiss.
At TIFF Noah Baumbach was saying that he had like a partial script for that, and like he had to check with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson to see if they would want to do it, because if they wouldn't, he would have never finished the script.
Wow.
It was supposed to be them.
Wow.
And when I first heard that, I was like, well, I don't get it. But after seeing the movie, I can understand.
Okay, so best animated. So we've got How to Train Your Dragon, blah, 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 the third one or whatever. We're at Klaus.
Oh, I never saw that.
I Lost My Body.
Never saw
Never
that.
saw it, yeah.
Missing Link.
Didn't see it.
And Toy Story 4. So I've seen them all.
Yeah, I've only seen Toy Story 4. For some reason, I thought Lion King was in there. I think that was for like the Golden Globes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, surprisingly no Frozen 2.
That is
Yes.
Yeah, because the
that
Golden
was
Globes had
surprising.
3 Disney movies in it. So
And especially since Frozen 2 like broke all these records or something for animated movies.
yeah. I mean, it is for me hard to pick Frozen 2 over Toy Story 4 because Toy Story 4 is such a, more important in my life. Although I did like Frozen 2, I did not like Frozen 1. And I have liked all of the Toy Story movies, although number 4 the least.
It's the weakest.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon, I have to say, we saw it. That's a long time ago now that we saw it. It's probably on Netflix because it's been such a long time, it's gotta be somewhere.
Yeah, there's probably a spin-off animated.
Well, we know there is a series.
But of that movie by now, I bet.
Oh, okay. It was nice though. He was grown up and
Yes.
there was a girl dragon. That's what it was, right?
I think so. And
A
his
white
mom
one? I don't
and
know.
or dad. Yeah, that's right.
Oh
there
yeah,
was-
people came back to life
Yeah.
and yeah.
There is a bunch of
Anyways,
stuff
it
that
was
happened.
beautiful and sweet.
It was.
Toy Story 4, beautiful and sweet.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
Not
of
sweet
those, no,
Yeah.
of those nominees,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that one of the ones I haven't seen is actually gonna win.
Yeah, me too.
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, Klaus, the Netflix one, has got some, some steam behind it. And that ended up surprising me. I hated it when I started watching it, and I rewound it because I was really feeling like I must have missed something. And I didn't miss anything. You have to watch it to the end to feel really good about it. But to me, I think it's going to come down to I Lost My Body and Missing Link.
Yeah.
I Lost My Body for just being such audacious storytelling, such an interesting story. And Missing Link, the Academy loves old school, getting your hands dirty, difficult animation, and it tends to reward that. So
Yeah, and I forgot about I had seen Missing Link.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would go for it. Out of the 3 that I have seen, I would go for Missing Link.
Okay. Although, as my sister calls it, the least of the good Yeti movies released in 2019. So Abominable and what's that other one called? Not
Big Smallfoot.
Big Smallfoot. Yeah.
Okay.
So she put Missing Link last, although she still calls it Susan. But she's wrong.
The animated ones are easy to track down this year, so I can still
So
watch
what's your
them.
excuse for not having seen most of these?
Oh, because they're easy.
Oh, he doesn't like it when you play.
Because a couple of them are.
Play hard to get
Yes,
from that.
exactly. Because I'm always rushing out to see these things are playing for a couple of days.
Limited. Yeah. Okay, so cinematography.
Sean and I discussed this in the car.
Oh, did you?
Yes, that was all we could talk about was cinematography.
Okay, because we've got The Irishman,
Yeah.
Joker,
Yeah.
1917, The Lighthouse, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I still haven't seen The Lighthouse.
I haven't either.
Okay.
Really? Oh.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
So I will speak for everyone when I say, holy fucking God.
Yeah. That one's actually next on my list. I think I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Okay.
So, to me, it's 1917,
Mhm.
and it's not that close.
No.
Because I think that is a movie that took it to another level. Where that's crazy how it does just put you in the middle of World War I, and you feel tense at all times, even just because of the way that they filmed it. I think that's really, I mean, what else are you awarding as far as cinematography goes, if not something that just sucks you in so completely? So I think that's one where no matter, everyone else did a good job, but
Everyone else did a good job.
this is a movie
I
that
mean, you have
comes
not seen The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
You have not yet been sucked by The Lighthouse, but
No.
it will suck you too, I promise.
Okay.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is. But I think 1917 is gonna take it.
Yeah, it's gonna take it. It should take it. I mean, a lot of the movies I like, especially the ones that are nominated this year, are really well shot movies. So it's a shame to like just single out one
Discount,
and
yeah.
just discount everything else. But I mean, it's true. Nothing else is this. I don't know if it's innovative, but I would say it's definitely an accomplishment, and it's doing something sort of innovative that hasn't been done quite this well. So.
Yeah, I think it's that's what exactly I agree.
Yeah.
It's not that no one's ever tried this before, but they nailed it. Like they did it perfectly.
And it doesn't feel gimmicky, which is the thing too. Like it suits the story well. It's not like a bad
it does
story.
match the
Yeah.
story. It is, yes, exactly. Okay, so what about costume design? Because I think this one is an interesting one this year.
Yeah, who we got?
So we've got, and I'll just name the movies. We have The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
It's so varied as
Yeah.
far as period piece versus
Well, they're all
time
period
Hollywood.
piece.
Okay, but yeah, that's true. But
They're different periods, but
They're
they're all
different
of a
periods,
period that's
yeah.
not this period.
Okay.
Yes. I maybe am more familiar with this category since I just wrote about it in depth, but I think it's a very interesting and tight race.
My gut, and I cannot begin to tell you who's gonna win.
Okay.
But who I would probably vote for, my gut would be just trying to picture these movies in my head. Would be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, Little Women's good too. I guess Joker's good. Jojo Rabbit is actually very good for that. Yeah.
Well, it won the award from the Costume Designers Guild.
Okay.
So they actually divide it up. They give one award to a contemporary film, they give one to a period film, and one to a sci-fi fantasy film.
Oh, I see.
The Academy always gives it to a period film, and in fact has only nominated period films. So it's hard to discount Jojo Rabbit for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Little Women has the look that the
That's
Academy
classic.
wants to reward, but
Yeah.
I think is the most boring out of these. I think The Irishman is 50 years worth of costumes.
Yeah.
And that is
And periods.
something- Yeah.
And I mean, it's also like a lot of spandex on old men to make them look slimmer and
Yeah.
leaner.
Well, I mean, the costumes I think are actually more successful than the de-aging. I think like sometimes I'll look at what they're wearing more than what his face looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to. I think Joker actually is an interesting challenge. Because it's taking such an iconic character that we all have in our heads, and it may not all be the same one, but everybody has the idea of a Joker in their head. And so to take that and I think really make it your own and make it also iconic almost instantly in itself
Yeah.
is a real challenge. But I mean, it is a period piece. It's telling a story because you almost have two different men.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
that's what I think Arthur Fleck is like almost just as much of a challenge. Like really everything about him, like you get a sense of who he was. And I think the costumes are probably a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, he has a very rumpled and sad look about him. A look that tells other people that he is not the same as us.
Yeah.
He looks sad. He looks sad, and he's not always dressed in brown, but he has a brown feeling about him. He just has the poor, slumpy, wrinkled.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
No wife doesn't fold his laundry for him. Look about him.
No,
Yeah. His mom can't quite
no,
get up
she's
to
not
do
up
it.
to
Yeah,
that.
she's
No,
No.
she's not doing it.
Yeah.
He's dressing her, which
Yeah.
is alarming.
And bathing her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tenderly. So who do you think is winning out of them?
You make a good case for Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also Once Upon a Time can't be left out, particularly because of the Sharon Tate, we've got some fictional characters and we've got some real historical people. We're putting them against, Sharon Tate was a movie within a movie, recreating those costumes.
Yeah.
They recreated some of her real red carpet looks we saw. And we see Rick Dalton, who's kind of, not quite stepped fully into the 70s yet, and Brad Pitt is like, yeah, I'm cool. Got my Hawaiian shirt for every day of the week. Even though neither of them is quite hitting what the actual temperature of the day is. They have two different takes. They're two different guys doing the same body work.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting one. And at the end of the day, these types of awards adding up for one film at the end of the night, if we're going to say somebody took home 11 awards.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
That's one of them. Okay, directing.
Yeah.
Scorsese, Todd Phillips, Sam Mendes, Quentin Tarantino, Bong Joon Ho.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I would actually discount. Oh, I hate to say this. I would actually discount Quentin Tarantino, despite the fact that I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just did a great job of recreating the period in every way, and it's a well-written movie. But as a director, it's just we've seen him before, and everything else was was kind of so terrific.
Yeah, well, I'm extremely comfortable eliminating him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would almost eliminate Scorsese also, because I feel like that's just not happening also. I feel like he's not going to win.
Maybe, but I sort of feel like, does this start being body of work time?
Yeah.
It's that kind of movie where we're reflecting on, one particular man's life, but also, this is Scorsese's work and his legacy. And there's a lot tied up into that.
I lean toward him for that reason, and also because that is, he made that movie 3.5 hours long, just almost as part of the character development.
Yeah.
And that's a brave thing to do. I think that's something that the Academy should want to reward.
Yeah.
And it's up there with his best work, especially in a while. It's a really, really fantastic movie.
It is. And I think, this is going to be very controversial, but I think because it was a Netflix movie and we always knew it was a Netflix movie, he could do every single thing he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He could do it money-wise, but he could also make choices that studio films, they want to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah.
They want, he really could finally do everything he wants to do in this movie. And he did.
And he could cast the people he wanted to cast. He could de-age instead of age.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And just what a cast. All the people that you hope will be in the new Martin Scorsese movie. They're all in it. And then Al Pacino, who I keep forgetting has never worked with him.
Well,
It was.
But he feels right at home.
Yeah. I almost take back discounting him. I don't think he's going to win.
I don't think he's win. I think it's probably between Sam Mendes and Bong Joon Ho.
Yeah. And I don't want to totally count out Todd Phillips, even though I should, because he won't win. But tonally, that was just such a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it really was. And that's right. I don't mean to discount him because the more I'm thinking about Joker, and I thought it was a fantastic movie when I saw it at TIFF, but just thinking about it more lately, it is in the top movies of the year for me, and I never in a million years thought I would say that. Sean doesn't think I would say it even now, but it really just, the themes that I keep drawing out of that movie, I'm so impressed by everything they were able to accomplish. And within the confines of a story everybody already knows, but they really have made it their own, and it's beautiful in its way.
But with Bong Joon Ho, is it?
Judy.
Bong Joon Ho, sorry, and Sam Mendes have both done is, I think, definitely stands above in a way. Sam Mendes for the obvious, but Bong Joon Ho, I only saw Parasite last night.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was just the number of things that he juggles. And then spatially, that house, and I almost hope it wins for production design, is just especially when they're like hiding all over the place. Like the idea to write that out and have a picture in your head of what the house looks like just the timing.
Yes.
There's almost an element of slapstick to it. The timing of so many things and all the tones that they juggle. I think I want him to win.
Okay. Well, I saw this one at TIFF. It was my first day at TIFF. I saw this and Lighthouse back to back on day one. Sean was not with me. I was clutching the arms of a straight. Well, we had discussed it before the movie, so I think he already knew I was going to be in his lap. But really, he was in mine. Let's be honest. It was like everything 1917 does, Parasite does in its own way. It's also tension filled for very different reasons. The dread, the anticipation, and then to be able to do that and to still surprise you in so many ways. Yeah. So many things, all the things that you are dreading. And then there was a 37th possibility that you didn't even think of, and now it's happening, and now it's even worse than all the 36 things you worried about. It's even worse, and it's happening, and now you have to worry about number 38, 39, that it just keeps coming. Yeah. So it's very successful in that way, and to make so many people excited about a movie that is not in English, I think is also a real testament to, this is one of the very few non-English Best Picture nominations that we've seen. Mm-hmm. It's happened before, but not very much, and I think that's a big deal.
Yeah. What's interesting about these ones is where Joker almost works so well for feeling inevitable, because obviously we know where it's headed. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, and 1917 work so well in terms of almost never knowing what's coming next. And the entire time, and for 3 movies where you always know where everything's heading, for all 3 of the Best Director nominees to be so unpredictable is so impressive.
Yeah. Okay, so how about editing? Editing, again, these movies are so interesting. So we have Ford v Ferrari, again, one that I didn't see because Sean saw it without me. Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite.
Oh. Well, I read something that I find hard to disagree with. It's hard to imagine something that's 3.5 hours long winning for best editing, because some people are going to say, well, it could have been shorter.
There was no editing.
Yeah, some people are going to say, well, I might have cut out this.
And yet, I do disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because they're telling 50 years worth of stories with many characters, so you are, and there's the time shift, right? We're flashing back, we're flashing forward, but he told that story, and we're not questioning it. We're we know what's happening, we're comfortable. I think that is why they got the nomination, and I'm not discounting it.
And the length is one of the things I like about The Irishman. It's a fun thing to sit and watch and make an afternoon of it, or in my case, an overnight. But I don't know. I would have to go with Parasite. I think, for pretty much the reasons I gave.
I sort of agree. Although I do think Irishman deserves to be the number 2, if not the number 1. But I think Parasite does just have really great pacing. The way it builds and builds and builds, it's successful in a lot of ways.
I think cinematography is so close to editing. It's just knowing where to put the camera and what to show is so intertwined with when to cut to something else and how to pace it that way. I think when we're talking about cinematography, a lot of the time I think editing should be considered very similarly. So I don't know.
Okay, so here we are about to talk about those adapted screenplays.
Right.
So we have 2 popes, not 1 but 2 for the price of 1, so keep that in mind. Joker, Little Women, Irishman, Jojo Rabbit.
Why, God, I've already forgotten what's the first one.
2 popes.
Yeah, why 2 popes? What's that? Is that a play? Well, like, was that a play?
Adapted.
Because it's adapted. Why is
Oh,
that adapted?
I
Do you
don't know.
Okay.
I mean, apparently
It was
a
something.
book,
Oh,
a
okay.
biography. We don't know. It was
I see.
something.
Okay.
So let's fuck off Two Popes. Get out of here. So we've got Joker, Little Women, Irishman, Jojo Rabbit.
Joker.
Okay.
I think I gotta go Joker too, because I think so much of what I loved about it, like the themes and stuff, I think that really starts with the script and really, even the idea that I could do this and make this into a movie, which was something I was extremely suspicious of until I saw it. And the idea that, like, if they didn't knock this out of the park, there's no point in making it, because no one wants to watch a mediocre movie about this. And so, yeah, I would go with that. I don't think it's going to win, actually, but that's what I would vote for.
It's probably not going to
Yeah.
win, but
Well, what do you think is gonna win? What's gonna win?
Little Women, I think.
Well, what was the other? Jojo Rabbit,
Irishman.
Irishman. Yeah, that'll probably win.
I hope it's Jojo.
Okay.
You know, I love me some Takeaway TV.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I love Jojo Rabbit. But I just love the ballsiness of writing this movie, of telling this story from this perspective. I love, being able to put yourself into the shoes of a little boy, it's really, we are reimagining a setting we know very well. We've seen a lot of movies, we've told these stories many, many times, and here we are reimagining everything. First of all, we're telling it from a side that history doesn't like to tell it from, but we're doing it from a little boy who is innocent and not innocent in a lot of ways, very interesting and sad ways.
Yeah.
And I think just everything about Jojo Rabbit is about hitting itself, really, and confronting all of those fears that we have when we talk about that war and everything we believe, and just confronting our ideas about hate and where it comes from and how it's perpetuated, and even in how we continue to tell those stories. I just think it's a very brave act of screenwriting there.
Well, you've convinced me.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
Give it to Jojo Rabbit.
Okay.
And I do like it for a lot of the reasons I like Joker.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about
the
the
Joker
screenplay is, an excellent concept. I think whenever I hear it, and I think, and I haven't read the book that it's based on, but I gather that it has its own spin on it, because it's very Taika Waititi. So I'm just guessing the book wasn't written that way.
So original screenplay, we have Knives Out,
Oh, good.
Marriage Story,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1917, Once Upon a Time, and Parasite.
Not having seen Parasite, to me, it comes down to the first two.
Okay.
So Knives Out is wonderful, but so is Marriage Story. So how do you choose between them? I don't really know.
Okay. Matt?
Knives Out I'm just really glad it's nominated. I don't think it's going to win. But it's so well structured, it's so entertaining. It's just kind of a one. I would want to actually sit and read that screenplay. I think it would be really fun. I don't know, I think I would go Marriage Story, despite the fact that I really like, I love Parasite. I almost prefer the movie, but because I like it for so many technical reasons, just to spread it out, I would go Marriage Story.
Yeah, well, I, oddly enough, also agree that it is between Knives Out and Marriage Story. For me, maybe not for the Academy, and probably not for the Academy. And they're two very different script-wise. Knives Out just being, any whodunit that's good, that's worth watching, is going to be a complex plot with a bunch of threads, and to be able to pull them all out in such a great way, and to have so many characters and all of them be interesting in their own way, and all of them get their own time, that's a hard thing to do, to have that many people in it and feel like we wanted them all, and we wanted, and not feel like, oh, this person was shortchanged, because everybody gets their little moment, and it's a lot of fun. And it also gets to throw in some little digs and some little themes of its own, which it didn't have to have.
Right.
Like I think it would have done, just as well without. But I think that was a really interesting way to just sort of worm in a couple of little.
Because it seems to appear rather than be worked into, which is kind of great about it. Like it really doesn't feel forced or preachy.
No, and they can also turn it into a joke, which I sort of admire when you get the chance to laugh at people like that. It's always kind of a relief. But Marriage Story, on the one hand, is very wordy and just the timing, the vitriol, the up and down levels of it too. Even within one fight, it could start off like we're on the same side and we're trying to agree, and then just one little hair trigger thing because they're always on the edge because it's already and then it's explosive. Then they like spend themselves, and so then we go back down, and now we're crying. Like there's just the up and down emotion of it is admirable,
and it's outrageously funny.
Yes. Well, that's what I like about both of them. Is that it's always good. I think it's harder to be funny, especially in a story like Marriage Story, where it's unexpected, it's necessary because we are. Yes, we need it. And so be able to pull that out and do it so well and have it be a genuinely funny moment. Yeah, it is really good.
Well, I thought, like everyone, as soon as I walked out of it, everyone was saying, "Oh, I heard that was really devastating." I'm like, well, I guess. I mean, I really thought it was entertaining, though. I don't think people should be afraid of it. It's a really... I laughed a lot. And also, I was in the premiere. It didn't premiere at TIFF, though, so other people saw it first, but I was among the first people to see it in that giant room of people that also were watching it, and everyone was laughing like crazy. And so I don't know how these same people are somehow tweeting apparently right after it's devastating. I don't know what they're talking about, because they seem to think it was funny, too.
Well, I think it can be both, and it is both, and maybe that's why it's nominated.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are on to Best Picture. Okay, so let's be real serious, guys.
Real serious.
We have Ford v Ferrari.
Well,
Toss it out. It's gone. Irishman. Joker. Jojo Rabbit. Little Women. Marriage Story. 1917. Parasite. Once Upon a Time. In Hollywood.
I always write it up that way too.
Yeah.
I never forget about the ... You gotta do it.
For me, 1917.
Okay.
I think that stands out of the things that I saw this year as just something I'm going to remember from this year.
That's great. Now let's remind the people what you haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen Parasite, and I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit.
Okay.
So,
Matt?
Well, the writing on the walls of 1917 is going to win. I think it's becoming clearer and clearer. And I was surprised about that at first, before I had seen it, or really a lot of people had seen it, because it won at the Golden Globes before it was really out.
Yeah.
And I did not know that was going to be a front runner in any way. I gotta say, just hearing Sean talk, I kind of have to go Joker, because on a gut level, just walking out of there, nothing else felt like that. I didn't want to watch any other movies at TIFF. I just wanted to think about Joker. And I loved it thematically. I thought it was absolutely kind of terrifying. And it asked the question of, like, there are a lot of movies about, anger and where that leads. This wasn't about anger. This was about becoming the Joker, where nothing else matters anymore and everything is a joke. And I think that that's almost where we're headed with, I don't know if it's the time or the place, but with like Trump country, it's just like, well, let's just throw the pin off the grenade and see what happens, which is kind of what Joker's like. And then the score, I guess we're not talking about scores, so the score was a huge thing for me. It almost made me do what I hate, which is stand up and ask a question at TIFF. So, yeah, that would be it for me.
Okay, well, I have to say, it's very hard this year. Joker is in my top movies of the year, and I would not be sad to see it win. 1917, crazy good. I did not expect to like it the way I liked it. I loved it, in fact, and I didn't think that was possible. Just the way it pinned me to my seat. I said to Sean when we finished, I didn't even get to cry at that movie until the very end when it finally releases you.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have cried a few times in there, but I didn't have time. They do not spare you a second. And that's really, I think, major for me.
And because it puts you in there with the character.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think that's very much, I mean, it is very much first-person storytelling. I think those long cuts do create an intimacy, almost. It becomes personalized in such an interesting way, such a devastating way. This one lacked the jokes. It didn't really have a lot of levity. Even the fat rat I didn't laugh at. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be sad to see that win. I know I wouldn't be sad to see Jojo win.
No.
And the thing is, Joker, I saw a little ahead of you guys at TIFF. And then I had to just sit on a wall and wait for them to get out of their screening of Joker because I needed to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it so much. And yet you try to talk so quietly because other people are going to see the movie later that week or like later that year, of course. But I needed to talk about it. Jojo Rabbit, I had no one to talk to about it because nobody else got to see it. And so I had to sit with that by myself for months before the rest of the world caught up with us. And I feel in some ways I still haven't been able to get all of that out because,
Because, well, Sean hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And you didn't, I don't think you even knew that I'd seen it.
Yeah.
Because I saw it probably last week or 2 weeks ago.
So you should have brought Sean because he needed to see it.
I should have. I didn't even.
Although I'm
know.
happy to see it again, and we keep meaning to see it again. We went back to see Knives Out because I saw Knives Out at TIFF and Sean did it, and we saw that together. And I would definitely be up for seeing Jojo again, even though I know it's a movie that ruins me. It ruins me. I mean, it's always hard when it's kids, when it's little kids, and you just, I don't know. I just feel like when it's adults, it's so easy to depersonalize and, get a very us versus them attitude about it. But when you bring it back down to the level of the child, and again, like, this movie is made or broken by the kid. So they did really good casting, not even just with Jojo, but with the other kids who are in it. They're all really good, and they're, his little friend, I think, is the breakout star of that movie, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he's adorable. But I just think for a movie to allow us to laugh at that, because, there are some subjects in life that we think we're not allowed to laugh at. But the truth is, if the joke is good enough, we can laugh at anything. And the jokes are good enough.
Yeah, and if a movie's called Joker, we may laugh at nothing.
That's true. But I think, Jojo Rabbit is daring, it's funny, and it's tragic. And because it can be both of those things at the same time, it reminds us that other things can be more than one thing at once, too. So I sort of like that message in 2020. And I would not mind at all if that was the message we took from that movie and these Oscars.
Yeah.
And Parasite, I'm still excited about that movie. It's dreadful. It's so rough. It's so rough for someone like me to get through a movie like that. And I feel like I should get an Oscar for having done it.
Yeah.
So if there's a category for girl who went through the most this year, it is me. I saw Midsommar. I saw Lighthouse by myself. I saw Lighthouse. I saw Parasite. Where is my Oscar? Because I deserve to win. Can we all agree on that?
True.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys.
Harriet for best song. You've been very good. You waited till the end.